Now, what did Laura Ingraham do? Well, Heather Digby, who used to write just under the name Digby, she has a piece at Salon that went up this afternoon under the headline, Laura Ingraham's racist rant fueling fears of a changing America as Republicans' midterm strategy. Remember what we talked about last night? It's perfectly clear that the Republicans know that once again they have to resort to lies, fear, utter lies, the worst kind of bullshit that they can come up with, you know, push the American population, at least these dumb shit Republicans, as far to the edge of the cliff as they can so that they will vote Republican and try to maintain control of the government. I'm trying to remember the last time Republicans really spoke the truth politically, really came up with anything that was truthful. I'm trying to remember the last time Republicans came up with anything that was a benefit to all Americans. I can tell you 20 things that the Democrats have come up with. But when was the last time the Republicans passed any legislation at all that benefited all Americans? I don't think they ever have. At least not in modern history. Say within the past 125 years, nothing. Zero. So anyways, as Digby writes, the big earthquake of the 2018 primary season so far has been the unseating of powerful Democratic House leader Joe Crowley in New York by 28-year-old Democratic socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Ortez in New York. This isn't a common occurrence, needless to say, but it does happen from time to time. Most recently, 4 years ago, when an obscure economics professor down in Virginia, remember this guy, David Brat? When he unseated Eric Cantor in Virginia, the Republican House leader, the one that John Boehner always used to say, where's that little Jew? Is that little Jew behind me? Give me another glass of wine. Where is he? Where is that little son of a bitch? I know he's going to try to take over Speaker House. You just can't trust these Jews. I mean, I would never say that in public, you know. Well, at the time, Brat unseated Eric Cantor in Virginia, which, if you remember, is a real shock. Much of the chattering class chalked the defeat up to all politics is local, saying that Cantor had neglected his district. Well, that was bullshit. Total bullshit. Brat won because of one very hot issue that was boiling over in right-wing media at the time. What was that? Immigration. And the right-wing star in the firmament that was most responsible for pushing that issue into the addled brains of right-wingers who listened to talk radio was Laura Ingraham. At the time was a radio host. Ingraham used to use her radio show to push for Brat to replace Cantor, partly because she's a known anti-Semite, among other things. No, she is. She really is. She even went to the district to campaign for Brat solely on the basis of his hardcore stance against the unaccompanied minors from Central Asia who were in the news at the time, gathering at the border seeking asylum. Central America. What did I say? Central Asia? Oh, my God. And as Digby points out, Ingraham was on a goddamn tear at that point, although Digby didn't use the word goddamn. She ranted daily about these ungrateful little wretches coming to our sacred borders asking for an undeserved handout. Sanctuary. Now remember, we've talked about this so many times, that this is something that you will never, not once, not ever, not, I mean, when they're giving drinks of ice water in hell, you still won't hear this out of Republicans. The reason there is chaos in Central America is because of U.S. policy towards Central America for a century. The United States, who turned Central America into one of the most dangerous places to live on the planet. So because of what we did in Central America for the past century, but all you have to do is go back 40 years to what we were doing with the Contras and all this other bullshit, you know, the counter-revolutionary force that was supposed to have been just created out of the air to fight against the Sandinistas, the freedom fighters who had overthrown the Somoza regime in Nicaragua. The Contras, that was bullshit. Those were CIA operatives. Some of the people who were involved in Watergate were also involved in establishing the Contras. Small circles with these goddamn Republicans, you know. So, but anyway, now we have this wave of refugees, a lot of whom were not born when the U.S. was doing this evil shit in Central America. You know, we're talking 40, 45, 50 years ago. They weren't even born. But now they're in their 30s. They have babies. They can't live in their own country because of the crime and the violence. And so they come here. And waiting for them is this bitch, Laura Ingraham, who wants to accuse them of somehow being wretched. Wretched. Why are you showing up here with your little rugrats, your little curtain climbers? Go back to your own fucking country. Well, Laura, that would be a good idea, except your ilk, people like you, Laura Ingraham, made sure that their country was one of the most dangerous places on earth to live. Let's put Laura Ingraham in Guatemala with her blonde hair and her white, lovely skin. Let's see how long she lasts. You want to do that? Yo quiero Taco Bell. Remember that? Remember that old TV commercial? I want a Taco Bell. Yo quiero Taco Bell. And when she heard that some of those refugees weren't taking to the food in the detention center, I mean, God knows what they were eating, but I'll guarantee it was not something their palates were familiar with. She described them, Laura Ingraham described them as spoiled whiners and mocked them by playing that old TV commercial with the slogan, Yo quiero Taco Bell. And this is what she said to the children themselves. This is why some of these women, to me, are bitches in the worst use of that word that I can think of. Bitch. I can't think of well, there's one other word. It starts with a C that I'm not going to use. I'll use bitch. And Laura Ingraham said to the kids from her filthy little radio program, oh, no, you won't. This is our country. Our borders matter to us. Our way of life and our culture matter to us. Our jobs and our wages matter to us. No, you won't. Come here.